What's up, everybody? Welcome back. You're here with Brothers Forge Gaming. Right now we're going to be looking at the Switch OLED. If you tuned into the last video about starting a Switch collection in 2022, we appreciate you stopping by. I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. In that video I mentioned that I was going to quickly review the Switch for you. Now there were some bits and pieces in that video. If you tuned into that, you might pick up on this one again as well. But I'm going to talk to you about the system itself, some of the kind of the limitations, and some of the reasons why I do and don't like the system. Now, originally when the Switch came out, I wasn't like super excited about it to get it. Obviously, I've been playing Nintendo since 1985. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, Nintendo GameCube, Wii. Really kind of passed on the Wii U because it seemed so similar to the Wii. And then, of course, Switch coming out. As you progress down the line, the original Nintendo, I still have my original hardware, a lot of my original games, controllers, light guns, adapters, all that stuff, all still work. 1985, what was that, almost 30 years ago? 40 years ago? How old am I? 50 years ago? I don't know, but all that stuff still works. Mint condition, works like it was, I just took it out of the box on Christmas morning. Whatever, it's amazing, it's incredible. Now, can that be said about some of the more modern consoles? I know right around GameCube I started having problems. And still have my original Nintendo, the original Super Nintendo, original Nintendo 64. GameCube I bought originally when it came out. Had to have that thing refurbished, get a new one, this, that. I went through several GameCubes. We did play a lot of GameCube. It was a disc system with a lens. There's some more moving parts. Right there, you're kind of starting to convolute everything and make it too much, right? So you kind of call the cutoff point right there at GameCube or N64. So for 3 generations, well, and of course the handhelds, Nintendo handhelds have always been really good. Okay, they have their problems or whatever. DS, 3DS, 2DS, whatever. One of the greatest, probably if not greatest, portable handheld systems ever created. That thing's a tank. It'll probably run forever. Some of the different Game Boys and things have had their issues. But anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. Main console generations here, NES, SNES, Nintendo 64. Those things will probably run forever and ever and ever. Those things are amazing. Okay, anywhere you go after that, right? So when you had the Wii, you kind of had some Wii issues with the sensor bar, the controllers. If you drop it, the batteries fall out. So they had that thing you put around it, all the different pieces. Yes, it was cool. The steering wheel, the rackets, all that. Wii Sports, amazing. There's some really fun stuff on the Wii. Don't get me wrong. Mario Kart on the Wii is great. Mario Party, so much fun. All that stuff's great. Okay, but what I'm kind of getting at is all those moving parts, all those pieces, so much stuff to lose, break, whatever. Okay. That's kind of where I started being like, I love Nintendo. I'll always, always, always be a true NES gamer, man. Mario, the original Mario, probably one of the greatest games ever made. Hands down. Great game. Okay? It's up there. And there's just so many great titles came from the NES. Zelda. Mario. Metroid. I could go on. Okay? Yes, there's more. Anyway. Pretty much every game, Castlevania, Mega Man, all that. Okay, it all came, Ninja Gaiden, everything came from the Nintendo. Greatest IPs that are still around today. Yeah, some of them have come and gone. Whatever. Okay, greatest system ever made, Nintendo 8-bit system. I'm always going to believe that. But what we're here to talk about today is the Nintendo Switch. Yes, we got the OLED model. I went over that in the previous video. If you want to, go back and check that out. If you haven't seen it, do so. Got that version. You can get the regular one, you can get the handheld if you're into that. But we wanted to get the newest, the biggest, the baddest, the bestest. So that's how we roll, Anyhow, got this nifty carrying case. There's so many fun things you can get for these. And that's one thing. That's one thing I like, and one thing I don't like about the Nintendo Switch are all these damn moving pieces. My number one chief complaint about this. We're going to start off with the complaints. Let's start off with the bad. Always end on a good note, right? So we're going to start off with that. This damn thing, okay? You probably can't see it. I don't have a fancy zoom-in camera or whatnot. Okay, there's this little hinge. In order to get the games in and out of the damn machine, you got to be able to function. You got to be able to functionally move that. I'm already having problems with the chip reader. I have brand new games. These are all new games, no used games, brand new system. Got this thing, opened it up for Christmas. It's already having trouble reading the games. Don't know why. Maybe it's this model. Maybe it's all the Switches. Maybe I got a limit. I don't know. But I can already see, if you're familiar with plastic, there's these little hinges in here. Those things, once that plastic starts getting stressed out, this thing's going to bust off. There's no doubt about that in my mind. This piece is going to break off. Now you've got an exposed disk drive, dust, and all that other fun stuff gets in there. Forget to put a game in there, dust is going to creep down in there. It's going to have all sorts of problems. Another issue I have with this, you may or may not be able to see it. These they snap in or whatever, but they are loose. I imagine over time, if you're jamming around a lot, that's going to become a problem. The 3DS, the hinge, we talked about DS, great system. I mentioned that earlier. But anyway, with those flopping around hinges with the DS, the damn thing, you're like, ah, and it fucking goes shut, and you're like, God, yeah, Anyhow, I can see some of those problems. Maybe, maybe not. Like I said, maybe I got a funky one or something. But not to mention that it's kind of hard to control. The little buttons are like, well, fuck, it's more laid out like the Xbox. It kind of got me thinking too. Is Xbox and Nintendo something going on there? Because you have PlayStation, it's kind of different, right? But anyhow, okay. So just some of the stuff there. Other than that, I mean, this thing is amazing. I don't want to sit here and rap on this thing and amazing, but one of the things I talked about earlier as well is that because you pop these Joy-Cons off of here, right? This is how you play Mario Party, and some of the different games make you use these, which is fine once you get used to them and so forth and so on. But going back and forth between all the different stuff, especially if you're playing other systems or maybe you don't play that much, and you're like, how the hell do I use this damn thing every time you go to play it? It's kind of frustrating. I'm older, so maybe I'm not as adaptable as some of you youngsters out there that can just pick up anything and do anything. But, somebody who's been gaming their whole life and has played every system from Atari, arcade, played it all, right? This is like one of the most confangled things for me, so maybe I'm showing my age. I don't know, but anyway, so we picked up these different controllers. I went over these in the other video as well if you want to check that out. Picked up these because, like I said, I waited on getting the Switch, so I'd seen these around in the stores. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It's a controller like, my PlayStation controller I'm super used to. Definitely more like an Xbox, okay? Definitely more like an Xbox controller the way it's laid out. There's some programmable map buttons, which actually kind of tend to get in the way. These things are a little bit tricky to get to work, and half the time they don't, you're sitting there doing the thing, trying to get it to sync to the system. Once you get them synced up, they work pretty good for the games they work on, right? I talked about that with the new Mario Party. Super Mario Party, the hell is that thing called? Yeah, just called Super Mario Party, right? So, anyway, can't use them with that. Maybe there's a way to do it. Don't know. Anyhow. Pick those up. They're pretty fun. They're great. It's nice to have the controller. Much better than the Joy-Con. We did order the bigger jumbo Joy-Con, so maybe that'll be a game changer with that. But just some of those little things right there. You can tell probably, like with anything you repeatedly use over and over again, it's going to wear down. And like I said, there's this little button that kind of comes on and off, and then all these different things. So I can imagine you're probably going to go through a good amount of these, not to mention, the little games. How easy are those to lose? Like I said, I was really hoping you could put DS games in here. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But like I said, my main complaint is the hinge there, some of the stuff with the controller, and then like I said, just kind of going back and forth between all of the different moving parts, having to use different controllers, having to use this, docking it on there. Yeah, it's a really cool feature, but at the same time, it kind of is frustrating. I would have loved for them to just put out a Nintendo, okay? Classic Nintendo with a toaster. I'll put my games in there. Man, I would love for that to happen. Come on, guys. Let's remake the Nintendo with the cartridges. What do you think? Hell, it could even be a little one that I put these little cartridges in. Just give it a toaster lid. A better one. One that's not going to snap in half. I don't care. Do it for me. Give me a brick controller. Because, if you think about it, these controllers, yeah, they got multiple different buttons on them and stuff, but you could get away with probably having 2 buttons, okay? Give me 2 buttons. Maybe put some buttons on the top. Give me a Super Nintendo controller. That thing has more buttons than any controller I'll ever need. Super Nintendo controller, make it an NES, pop in those games in there, and you can't go wrong. Anyway, but for a gaming console, one of the things I talked about is that it is a really collectible system. I love the fact that you don't have to go online to play games. You put them in, yeah, you can be online, there's updates and different things, but I don't have to be signed in to a profile, connected to the store with my credit card information, all these different things. Most of the games are couch co-op. You can hook up multiple systems and play games that way. Super awesome in regards to that. So much fun. But like I said, some of those little things kind of detract from that for me. But ultimately, if you're looking for a good time, this is the way to go right here. With your buddies, your family, whatever, just playing. You can play on the go. All these different varieties that you have with the system. Its unique features are what make it great and make it excel, but at the same time, it also kind of makes it a little bit frustrating. Yeah, let me tell you this. This is the system right here to play with your family. A lot of time, they won't even want to play with me on PlayStation. I guess it's a little intimidating to them, something like that. I'm not sure why. But anyway, this just has that appeal. It has that kid, that wife, that grandma, that mom, that whatever. It has that appeal for the overall family aspect get together. And if you want, like I said, go online, you can do all that modern stuff with it that I'm not interested in. I actually like the fact this is probably the only modern system you don't have to hook up to an online account to play. I love that about this thing. That's probably my favorite feature besides the really, really fun games to play. And like I said, we went over some of these. You got your classic games in here, Mario Parties, your Smash Bros, Mario Kart, basically Mario, anything. Super fun. And I can't wait to see. I hear there's over 3,000 games for this thing. I don't know if they're all physical copies or a lot of them are downloads. Not sure how that's all panning out. But you can get a ton of these games. Super fun to collect for. Very good. I recommend you get yourself an OLED. I didn't play the original model, but you could just assume this is better. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe the original Switch is the best. Let me know in the comments if that's true. But anyhow, the newer one, get that. Maybe there's going to be one coming out in a bundle, an even better one. Maybe one that plays old games. That would be even better, and I'm definitely going to have to get me one of those. But if you ask me, original 1985 NES gamer, does this compare to the Nintendo from that era? You know, I would say no. Can I say that objectively? Probably not. But, like I said, all these things considered, the fact that my hardware still works from 30 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever it is now. I'm terrible at math. You tell me the numbers. Is this still going to hold up? Is this thing going to hold up then? How's the battery life on this thing? Am I going to have to replace the batteries every 2 years? I don't know. You know, what's the screen? Is the screen ultimately the LEDs in there going to go out? I know LEDs last a long time. Is that going to be a problem? How's the docking mechanism going to hold up over time? Those are all unknowns at this point. Maybe Nintendo will hold the test of time and it will show us that it is still truly the dominant, great machine maker of all time. The quality has always been there. That seal of quality. Well, hell. Oh, there it is on the back. That Nintendo seal of quality. You see that thing and you know you're in business. All right? That being said, still I would recommend that you get yourself a Switch if you enjoy fun games, if you like any of the stuff I've been talking about in these videos. And do look forward to more. Coming back here on Brothers Forge Gaming, checking us back. I'm looking forward to doing some gameplay on these. I'm going to try to do a review. Like I said, I'm probably going to have to do it old school. I don't have a real good way to capture this, so I'm going to probably hit it up with the handy cam and edit up some videos like we did back, 5 years ago when we first started this thing here on YouTube. So yeah, I'd like to say thanks to everybody for stopping in here on our channel. All your likes, comments, subscriptions, everything helps. All your interaction with us. It really helps. It gives us that motivation to keep on going. It's nice to be able to do a video again. It's been a while. Been a little busy with life stuff going on. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do some more stuff like this. If you guys enjoy these kinds of things, let me know. Ultimately, I do a lot of just gameplay and different things. Easy's been holding it down on the stream. And hopefully this year, we're going to be able to bring it all together and do the Return of the Mac. You know how it is. Anyway, yeah, it's been fun, guys, but it's about that time. And we appreciate you stopping by. Like I said, make sure to check out all our vids here. We got games from all sorts of systems. We're streaming, we're doing vids, we're doing it all. Make sure to come on back, check us back here on Brothers Forge Gaming, and we'll see you next time.